Hi guys, this is Nathan again doing another video on my website, which is on the screen right now, EmpowerYourLife.dev, and this is my fourth video on this site. We'll be going back to this site here about learning the rules of the system, empowering your status, separating laws from regulations by clicking this image, this button, or this button. It'll take you to this website, and this is the site on how money works. If you click how money works there in the menu, it will take you to here, law-5.webnode.page or .com/money. This is my second video on this website, or well, technically my third, but it's the second page of this website, I should say. It says a promise to pay. When a country enters bankruptcy, there is no money, only debt. Promissory notes. After 1931, and when the trading territory known as the United Kingdom became a bankrupt company, the money changed. Prior to this, a £1 note entitled you to £1 in weight of sterling silver, in brackets hence pound sterling, exchanged in the bank anytime you wanted silver instead of the certificate, aka receipt for the silver, which is the note or pound note, known as a bill of lading or bill of exchange, as used under Admiralty maritime law, originally created in order to make transport of goods overseas easier due to many losses through sunken ships. Because if the goods remain on this side of the ocean and all that is carried across the water is a silver certificate, and the ship happens to sink, another certificate or receipt can easily be written up, and although the ship and crew may have been lost, the silver or gold was not. Speaking of which, we can see all the gold inside the vaults of the Bank of England here. Well, not all of it. I'm not sure. I won't say how many miles it goes on for, but I'm not sure how many meters it goes on for, but you can look that up online. You'll see photos of the Queen in there and everything. But continuing on, so this was a type of insurance, alternative spelling in brackets insurance, just to illustrate the coincidence with like Admiralty maritime, terms like sea, related to the sea. Yeah, against those, so start again. So this was a type of insurance against those type of incidents, and so these certificates also became used as a sort of currency, in brackets currency, and this was also a type of bond or promise to pay, so is in effect a debt. When your employer pays you with Bank of England notes or any type of country's promises to pay notes, that's what they're saying. We promise to pay you. We haven't paid you, but we do promise to pay you at some distant future date, which reminds me of that song Tomorrow Never Comes, possibly because they will never pay you with any substance, because there is none anymore. That's how it works in bankruptcy. Debts are paid with debts. Bankruptcy. This is how the national debt is built up. Everyone is promising to pay, but the debt keeps building and nothing gets paid. The government borrows money from the bank instead of creating its own money and has to pay it back at interest, so that adds to the debt. And since everyone is working to earn more promissory notes or promises to pay, how is the debt going to get paid? It can only come from either producing more goods to make profit, repossessing property to sell. From who? From the people that were borrowing money to pay for that property, like via mortgages, etc. Or it has to make cuts on expenditure. So that's how the government works in relation to national debt, and that's why we have yearly inflation and price increases and yearly cuts. Getting back to the physical money of exchange, The wording on these bond papers, also known as promissory notes, was something like this: I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of X pounds sterling silver, accompanied by a signature. Seem familiar? If you look on any money, it will be the same, whether English pound notes, American dollar bills, or whatever. And we'll look at a £5 note later. I promise to pay and a signature. The only difference now, of course, is that they aren't redeemable in gold or silver. In the case of American dollars, $1 was also a specific weight measurement in gold. And they took the name of it so they turned the name into money rather than a weight measurement or currency. But since we are now operating in bankruptcy with a fiat currency, meaning one not backed by a tangible substance, it is not the gold or silver that gives the money value, it is the people and their promise to pay or their labour keeping the economy going that gives it value. Your word is your bond in brackets, and a bond is a form of money, for instance bearer bond, but this is where the word comes from and what it means. Your promise to pay, your bond, your oath or affirmation is what creates money. I also recommend watching the following video for a good explanation of how the banking system works. And that's called The Goldsmith's Tale here on the left. And continuing on the left, if you read Modern Money Mechanics, a document put out by the Federal Reserve Bank, PDF document below, we are told about fractional reserve banking, which confirms what the above video is telling us, that is that the banks only have to have 10% of what they actually lend out in their possession or reserves. This is confirmed on page 6 of this document below, where it states, however, they are not required to keep $10,000 of deposits and reserves against the $10,000 of deposits. All they need to retain under a 10% reserve requirement is $1,000. The remaining $9,000 is excess reserves. This amount can be loaned or invested. See illustration 2. You'll also want to read the rest of that paragraph, trust me. Yeah, so let's have a look at this. For every $1,000, they can lend out $10,000. So $9,000, they can lend out $90,000, right? Anyway, there's the document there to download if you want to read it. Modern Money Mechanics PDF. Then we have this video, which I think is an excerpt from Zeitgeist, also explains it. It's called Fractional Reserve Banking Explained. And then we come down and we see the yellow brick road, or the gold road. The Secret of Oz. By the way, Dorothy has ruby slippers in the film, but in the book version she had silver slippers, because that's what the film was about, gold and silver. And well, if you watch this film up here, you'll get a good insight about all of that. But coming back to here, The Secret of Oz, the time period in history leading up to the Great Depression and stock market crash, which created the bankruptcy and created this new system of money operation, is very important to understand, which is why I recommend watching this documentary on why the quantity of money in circulation is so important. Gold-backed versus fiat currency and other important topics to understand about the money system. For instance, the fact that almost every US president who tried to give the people a debt-free currency was either assassinated or attempted to be. Yeah, and the film is called Bill Still, The Secret of Oz. And we have to come back up here and you can see the YouTube link there. Continuing on, because I'll let you watch that in your own time. It says how to pay your debts with a signature, aka a promise. If you have credit card debt or other unsecured debt, check out my page in the index top right hand corner of each page on this site entitled Credit Cards to see how you can do just as it says in the title, that is, pay your debts with his signature, aka a promise. Also look at the A for V page. This explains the process. You might also want to look at the utilities page and the income tax page. Hopefully I will be doing a video on each of those pages later though. So continuing on, you'll see here 2 silver certificates. You see it says silver certificate there and silver certificate here. 2 silver dollars. So this would actually entitle you to redeem. You'd be able to redeem this, which would entitle you to 2 silver dollars. And a dollar was a weight, like I say. Continuing on, someone had an interesting idea about how to wake people up as long as money is still circulated, of course. Not sure how you or the authors of notes would feel about defacing money, but hey. It says BOR, fines before conviction are illegal. Oh, BOR 1689. Yeah, that's the Bill of Rights 1689, which says that grants and promises, all grants and promises of fines and forfeitures before conviction are illegal and void. Actually, I was going to show you the promise to pay and the signature on that, but it's on the other side. But so if you look at any pound note or dollar bill, it'll always say, I promise to pay the bearer on demand a sum of whatever the amount is in pound notes or dollars on one side, and it will have a signature. Continuing on, I say I also recommend this video. A lot is taught about how the system works in this one video, and it's called The Occult Art of Law. You can look that up on YouTube or click here to play it. If you've read this far and want to learn more, head over to the contacts page to send me an email for a free info pack. Otherwise, let's continue this journey by heading over to page 3. And I showed you the contacts page in the previous video. Page 3 is about conditional acceptances. That will be the next video. There's a t-shirt again with the play on words. You must wear a face mask, which we hear at train stations or did do during the corona, during lockdowns and all of that. Novelty law based t-shirts and merchandise available. We're coming to the end of the second page of my site here. It's just showing you here the Telegram group, which is very active, and then there's a part to make donations, and then to finish off it says, and while we're on the subject of money and Bitcoin, and after having read this page, I have to ask you, did you know that fiat currency, that's the current legal tender, or money that isn't backed by gold or silver, as we have seen following the changes brought about by Wall Street crash of 1929, the current type of money that we use, whether in cash or sitting in your bank account, actually devalues more and more as time goes on. So I was asking you if you were aware of that. This is just due to the way that the money system is set up and is just part and parcel. It's a standard feature of this money system, as is inflation due to the national debt, fractional reserve banking, fractional lending, and money being lent at interest, etc., rather than, I will say, rather than the government creating it for themselves, because every president, as it shows you in the video The Secrets of Oz, every president that tried to create a debt-free currency was either assassinated or attempted to be. But it says, well, Bitcoin is the opposite, because Bitcoin increases in value over time due to its limited amount and other factors. Yeah, it might fluctuate, but you know, compared to it doesn't go down like fiat currency, which we use, the legal tender. To learn more, head over to my Bitcoin page in the index in the top right hand corner of this page. Cue the outro, Pink Floyd Money official music video. Just thought that would be an apt outro to have. And then we have earn free cryptocurrency pre-coins every time you use a search engine. Click below to use pre-search. So you can click that and join as shown in my previous videos. Anyway, that's that. So thanks for watching. Take care, one love, and stay blessed.